Hi everyone, this is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. This is my Pixel 6 Pro. And what was Google thinking when they made this phone? I mean, come on. So in my video, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't buy this. That's right. I'm going to go through every single thing as to why you shouldn't buy this. So let's stay tuned. Now, if we go back, this has been out now a good few months. And we all know that when it came out, it was a pile of poop. That's right, it was a mess. The fingerprint sensor didn't work properly. Very hit or miss. There were bugs throughout everywhere. I was fortunate enough to get the December update, and I've been using that obviously since the start of December, and I obviously got the January update. So has this critical fix in January fixed everything? Well, for the record, let's just show you first of all why you shouldn't buy this phone. Reason number one, if we turn this on, the fingerprint sensor. I mean, it's terrible, isn't it? I mean, look at this. It actually opens it instantly. And it doesn't matter which finger I use. And I haven't retrained everything since I got this. It just works now. It's terrible, isn't it? Terrible. I keep telling you, don't buy it. The fingerprint sensor, everyone's told you the fingerprint sensor is terrible. Well, you can see it's not. I'm going to talk about the camera because you really need to see how awful the photos are from the camera. I mean, here's an example. I mean, who wants to take photos this rubbish? I mean, come on. Yeah. Crazy, eh? So, what else? Take the camera aside. What else what else were Google thinking? I mean, they made a phone with this weird strip across the top. I mean, who does that? This is a Bellroy leather case, by the way. They're the official sort of leather case company for Google, and it's a nice case. But who would want a nice case to go with their phone? I mean, here it is in the white, and with this black strip across them. Isn't that awful? No, it's bloody amazing. Stands out. Everyone knows that's the Google phone. Instead of having a stupid array of a camera in a strip, they come across. They made it different. That's what Google was thinking. Before I drop it, because this thing is very slippery, can't deny that. Let's unlock here. Again, instant. Really smooth. Everything just works. What were Google thinking about that? Making a phone that actually just works. But it gets even better. Let me open up a note application. When you bring up the keyboard, it has a microphone here. And as you talk, it actually inputs the text for you automatically. Now, if you were using this for sending a text message or any other type of message or replying to an email, it will even give you the option to send it with your voice or have an icon on the screen that says send. So it's done automatically. And as you can see, it's just putting that text in perfectly. And it does this every time. There's even an option if you press and hold the power button where it can auto transcribe what's being said on the screen. So if you're watching a film, it can bring up it tells you what's being said. It's fantastic. Anyway, let's just stop that for a second. That is perfect. Now, obviously, I could do this in a text message, but then you see my personal data. You see, you really don't want to buy this phone because you really don't want the ease of use of using voice that easily and that fast to reply to messages using your voice. Nobody wants that. Now, let's just delete that. But also, you'll notice that depending on the colour of my screen, you can customise the colours and everything. So if you go into wallpaper, it looks at the wallpaper colours and it gives you some recommended colour options, or you can use basic colours and you can have just a basic finish. So let's just take brown, and let's accept that. Let's just do blue or green. And you see I've just changed green to have green there, but then when I swipe down, I also have the green quick toggles there as well. It's so nice. So as a phone, because this has Google's OS and it's their OS with the Google Assistant and everything else, it just works, and it works really well. Because you can say things like, hey Google, will it rain today?
It's likely. Today in Yelverton, there's a good chance of rain from now until about 11 a.m.
Other things that, about this phone is it's just so reliable. Since having the January update, there are no bugs. But the biggest reason I don't want you to buy this phone is because of its camera. It's so terrible. I mean, just look at some of these photos I'm showing you. I mean, come on. Don't please buy this phone. I don't want you to share photos this good either. I want to hog it all the limelight for myself. Yeah. Don't buy this phone. I don't want you to take photos like this. Here's a selfie of me I took yesterday, or the day before yesterday, depending when you see this video. I mean, okay, I can't smile, but it's fantastic. It's really, really good. As I said, we're getting real for a minute. When Google first brought this phone out, it wasn't finished. It had bugs. Android 12 had bugs. But they were promoted as terrible, awful, dreadful. And there's still a lot of clickbait. That is, people say negative things on a device, and it could be any microphone, and they will tell you to, or make you think you shouldn't buy this because it's just going to be a nightmare. The biggest criticism, I think, and justified from day one, which was months ago now, was that fingerprint sensor. I was lucky, I got the December update. Even in the November update, that improved the fingerprint sensor. December, the fingerprint was even better. It's even improved now. In fact, it's fine now. It's a non-issue. So really, you've got this camera. Now, some of the things the camera does, let me show you. So when you're using this camera, one of the options it has is a self-leveling guide. But when it's completely level, so that is when it shows 0, you feel this vibration. So you automatically know when you're using it and you're holding it and you're tilting it this to get it completely, level. You feel this vibration, so you stop, and then you hit the shutter button. So that means when you look at editing the photos, you don't need to level or slightly tweak the level in case you got it slightly wrong. There's none of that. There are many guides to help you get the perfect shot. Its accuracy from a white balance point of view is phenomenal. Now, I've used this in tricky lighting conditions, so I'll go out, do some astrophotography. Here's an example of my local church. Look at the stars. Here's one just from the spire going up into the sky with the stars. How many phones can take astrophotography that well, that have a night mode that's that reliable? Now, in night mode, sometimes it is too bright. I like night to look like night. But if you have a good clean night shot, you can darken it and you can make it look more realistic. That's a little tip for you. But generally speaking, I shoot when I go out on these sunrise and sunsets and very tough lighting conditions, and I will take and shoot in JPEG and RAW. It gives you the option to shoot in RAW. I then edit that RAW image in Adobe Lightroom Mobile, so I do it on the phone. But I'm not, on that RAW photo, I'm not changing an awful lot, hardly anything. Because the RAW image versus the JPEG, the RAW has more depth. It shows you that depth. It's just a better quality photo. But I'll give you some realism here. I had an iPhone 13 Pro, and I would take both these phones out. Now this is before this has had 1, 2, 3 updates. The camera has been improved. So I was comparing the photos from the iPhone 13 Pro with this prior to all its updates on the camera. And in my specific scenarios where I use the camera a lot, the 13 Pro at sunrise in blue hour in particular was a mess. It was smudgy. It just didn't take in enough light. Just didn't. Even in Pro RAW. The JPEG on this was better than the iPhone's Pro RAW. And you can imagine the difference between the RAW on this versus the iPhone Pro RAW. Huge difference. Having that bigger main sensor, pixel binning, drawing in more light does make a difference. So I'm going to leave you with a few more photos. Honest to God, please don't buy this phone, because I want to have brilliant photos. A phone that's easy to use, hassle-free, quick to respond. It does things, it suggests things to make your day and everything easier. It's a fantastic phone, all being equal. And if you do get it, you will love it. Anyway, it's Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. Sound off in the comments, I'll reply to them all. Bye for now.